Welcome to the laboratory of Jean-Paul Gasset. You'll witness before you a phenomenon like no other.
Hey everybody, Buzzsaw Gaming here. Hanging out with my retro gaming buddy, Mr. Buzzsaw.
We'll begin right here.
On the black Sega Dreamcast Sports Edition.
What awaits you within?
In the
You
background,
have no idea what
the quirky pet simulator, Seaman.
This is something you must find out for yourself. As there
And
is
here,
no to help you.
our topic today is retro video game collecting worth it? So it was a question posed actually by a friend of mine, and thought I would make a video response about it. Anyways, I mean, the short answer is obviously yes. I'm involved in retro video game collecting, so it is quite rewarding. But, you know, if you're not into it, or, you know, you have other priorities financially, I mean, food and rent and, you know, all these kind of things, obviously those take priority over video games, you know, all the time. So anyways, if you're in that boat, you know, probably emulate or you know, hunt down a cheap game now and then, and you know, you kind of scratch that itch. But as far as like, is video game collecting worth it? I mean, there's a lot of pitfalls. I mean, there's a lot going on. Here I have my original Dreamcast, and, you know, a video game system I'm very nostalgic for. It's very cool, very quirky. I mean, Seaman is such a quirky game. There's my Dreamcast collection right there. And right here you can see the Dreamcast controller with the microphone attached to it, you know, to play Seaman. It even has a little Seaman right there in the VMU. Over here, TurboGrafx 16. Some games right there. The Turbo Stick and my beautiful Turbo Express. Now, one of the downfalls of, you know, retro video game collecting is this stuff is old. I mean, this stuff is, you know, pushing 30, 35, you know, getting closer to that age, and a lot of it's failing. So, for example, my Turbo Express, I mean, it's been working wonderfully for years. I absolutely love it because you can take all your TurboGrafx 16 games, the original games, play on the handheld. It was by far my favorite handheld system, retro handheld system, all the way until Game Boy Advance came out. And I absolutely love it, but unfortunately it needs the capacitors replaced. And so the screen went dark, and also the sound is very light as well. So I need to have that service. So if anyone knows someone that can replace the capacitors of a Turbo Express, please, you know, leave a comment below. I'm looking for someone to do it. I know it's not terribly difficult to do. I've seen videos of people doing it, but you know, I'm not too keen on soldering and doing stuff like that, although the parts itself are very inexpensive. So anyways, I mean, that's one of the pitfalls, is this stuff is old. I mean, my Dreamcast too, I mean, sometimes, you know, I turn it on, it doesn't turn on all the way. You know, you got to replug in things. I mean, you got things, you know, such as disc rot. You know, disc rot's never affected me, but, you know, it can, I guess, in time. As far as my video game collection, I've heard it. I think it hurts more, I guess maybe GameCube or PS2, I've heard more about that. But, yeah, I mean, a lot of my games are cart, so, you know, that's very thankful. But, yeah, it is tricky to do this. And also, at the same time, you know, the CRTs, I mean, those are becoming less and less frequent. I mean, they used to be the market leaders. I mean, this was, you know, it was dominant. Everything was CRT, 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 until those, you know, cool, you know, 5-pound flat screens came out, and everyone started throwing these to the trash can. And now it's been, you know, decades since major companies like Sony have made a TV like this. So it's getting less and less and less. And, you know, one day this won't work again, you know, as well. So, yeah, it's a question, really. I mean, is retro video game collecting worth it? I mean, for me, it's a resounding yes. I mean, I grew up through this. I mean, I absolutely love this stuff. I love the manuals. I like the discs. I like the cards. I like the little boxes like this, like the Caution Seaman box right there. Mr. Buzzsaw is not doing much today. He's just relaxing. He's He's tired. He ran a lot around the house today. But yeah, Caution Seaman could say Caution Buzzsaw, right? It kind of looks like him a little bit. But anyways, yeah, like the box like this, and you know, having connections like this as well as the microphone is so cool. I mean, to be able to talk to your virtual pet. I mean, something really interesting. I mean, sometimes I talk to Mr. Buzzsaw and he just doesn't respond. Although he is very active. He does he signals when he wants to go back in his house, when he wants to leave his house. So he's he will tell me what he wants to do. But yeah, I mean, it's a tough one actually. And also, you know, another factor is the price. I mean, the price of this stuff, like this Turbo Express, is very expensive nowadays. The games are expensive. I mean, Dreamcast stuff is expensive. The games are expensive. I mean, pretty much all of it's expensive. I mean, in the retro gaming world, I mean, if you were to dive in on a budget, I mean, you really have to be cautious. You know, cautious seaman, right? You can't, you know, go in and, you know, spend a ton of money on eBay and just go crazy. I mean, you're going to go broke that way. So it's probably not the best idea. The best probably is to pick a system like an Xbox or maybe the original Nintendo, you know, that have some key games that are cheap, you know, $5, $10 games, and kind of stick your toe in the water and see how you like it. You know, kind of go from there. I mean, I kind of organically grew my collection over time, so it's kind of, you know, it's been part of me for most of my life, so it just kind of grew and grew. And, you know, 15, 20 years ago when people didn't care, it was wonderful, but you know, nowadays it's quite difficult to start a collection. So also you have the mini consoles as well. I mean, that's another option for a lot of people. You have the HMI connections, and, you know, to the modern TV, you don't have to, you know, go and try to find or, you know, have room for a CRT like this one right here. So yeah, that's another, you know, another option as well. So is it worth it? I mean, it's really up to you. I mean, if it's really nostalgic, and it's something that you really enjoy, that, you know, gives you pleasure, and it's really something that you crave, go for it. You know, just dip your toe in, and you don't have to have an entire collection in one day. I mean, it's more of the journey than anything else. I mean, this has been my journey for, I don't know, 35 plus years. It's been a while. So, I mean, you know, if someone who's younger, who's just starting into it, I mean, it can be a journey as well. And just, you know, start slowly, and the thrill of the hunt, and you know, go into a pawn shop and, you know, maybe finding something that normally is, you know, $30 and you find it for, you know, 15 or something. It's an awesome day, right? So anyways, yeah, I think that's awesome. You know, all around, basically, you know, is it worth it? Yes, it's definitely worth it. For people that are not into it, maybe not, you know, maybe just, you know, have those systems where you can just download things onto, or, you know, the mini systems as well you can get. And, you know, for $100 or $200, you can get an entire library of games. I mean, I know they have all kinds of different ways to emulate. I don't know much about it because I've never done it. I've always seek the original hardware, but I know people do it, and, you know, they can have like, I don't know, 5,000 games in like a little box like the size of the Sega Dreamcast. So, I mean, that is an option. But, you know, I just love like this, like the Turbo Stick, the original Turbo Stick. It's just so cool. I mean, it's just the thick wire behind it and the funky connector. It's just in that burnt orange. It's just, don't make stuff like that anymore, you know? And this Turbo Express, I mean, absolutely awesome. I love it. But yeah, the downside is the capacitors are, you know, at that age, and, you know, probably one blew, or, you know, I don't know what happened. I have no idea. So, you know, that's part of it. It goes with it, you know? So is retro video game collecting worth it? Yes. Is it worth it to buy the $1,000 games and the $500 games? I would say no. I mean, unless you really, really want to, or, you know, Mr. Buzzsaw woke up and licked his cousin right there, Caution Seaman. Mr. Seaman and Mr. Buzzsaw hanging out. So, yeah, I mean, there are some games I would love to have too that are hundreds of dollars that, you know, now I kind of missed the boat on. So it is what it is. And maybe one day I will pick them up. Maybe one day I won't. But I'm pretty happy with my collection. You know, I have a modest collection, but it's, you know, it spans the consoles that I like, the video games that I like. So, yeah, anyways, if you made this far, I mean, comment down below. I mean, is retro video game collecting worth it? As a shy Mr. Buzzsaw hides behind Caution Seaman right there. Maybe he's going to knock it down. Oh. Maybe not. Anyways, made this far, leave a lizard emoji down below. Give me your comments about retro video game collecting. I mean, is it worth it to you? How do you collect? I mean, what do you enjoy about it? What are the pitfalls? I mean, what do you really love about it? What do you really hate about it? I mean, it's a hobby. So this is something that we all do out of our own, you know, free time and free will. So anyways, absolutely love it for me. And, you know, I hope my friend that asked me that question is going to watch this video. I'll forward it to him. Anyways, have an awesome day. And this is Buzzsaw Gaming signing out. And Mr. Buzzsaw, he's out. Have a nice evening.